Hello viewers, today we will talk about diversified structure and function in prokaryotes, especially in case of eubacteria. From this structure, you can understand that the cellular composition, 70% is composed with water and 30% is macromolecular content. Macromolecular content includes lipid, protein, nucleic acids, carbohydrate, etc. They vary according to structural and functional relationship. Microorganism has various different types of activities. They can be the causative agent for tooth decay and plague. Not only that, sometimes the microorganisms are beneficial. Within our large intestine, vitamin K synthesizing prokaryotic bacteria are there. Lactobacillus, very important for synthesizing, for making curd. So not only the disease causing prokaryotic eubacteria are there are different kinds of beneficial microorganism, beneficial prokaryotic eubacteria are there. It was thought that at around 3.5 million years ago, the prokaryotic eubacteria were evolved. Around 1600, by Leeuwenhoek, the bacteria was observed under microscope. During 19th century, by Koch and Pasteur, the disease-causing bacteria were found. During 20th century, various different kinds of prokaryotic eubacteria are evolved, they are found, they are characterized according to their genome character, structural character, ecological types, etc. First, talk about their taxis-related variation. Taxis include chemotaxis, phototaxis, osmotaxis, aerotaxis. According to differential environmental stimuli, different types of taxis are there. For taxis, different types of cellular structure is responsible, mainly flagella. Flagella are associated with cell wall. But in case of Delovibrio and Vibrio cholerae, the flagella lacks sheath, because in other cases, the flagellin are cored together, allow hollow core to make proper flagella structure. Not only flagella, in case of some spirochetes, the axial filament is found. What is axial filament? Axial filament is made by 100 of axial fibrils. They actually help them for corkscrew motility within the liquid system. So these two variations are found according to the motility, according to the taxis function. Not only these two structures, but also chemoreceptors are there. What are chemoreceptors? They are some sort of antenna-like molecule which accept some of the chemicals as ligand to their receptors, and by methylation, demethylation, it transduces the signal inside, which is responsible for the chemotaxis. It contains two component system including histidine kinase activity. Variation regarding cell wall structure. In case of gram-positive bacteria, we can find the presence of teichoic acid, the ribitol derivative. There are mainly two types of teichoic acids, lipoteichoic acid and wall teichoic acid. From this structure, you can observe the wall teichoic acid is partly associated with the wall, but lipoteichoic acid passes all through the cell wall. Lipoteichoic acid is responsible for the inflammatory structures and functions, but wall teichoic acid is actually associated with nasal epithelium. In case of Mycobacterium species, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, we can find the presence of a lipid layer, a special type of lipid. It is termed as mycolic acid or cord factor. Cord factor is trehalose mycolate. So this is a dense type of lipid. It makes the system resistant towards the antibiotic, towards the acids and alcohol, towards different strain, as well as macrophage activation through IFN gamma, interferon gamma. So this particular layer makes Mycobacterium resistant, and this is actually important for the disease. So it is called as the virulence factor. From this picture of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, you can understand how it is getting stained by acid first staining method, which is Zell-Nelson method. What is done actually? By treating acid, alcohol and carbamazepine, the lipid layer is getting removed and it is stained with the methylene blue. So here you can observe how they are looked like by acid first staining. Toxin. Endotoxins are associated with cell wall structure in case of some gram-negative organism. We all know that in case of gram-negative bacteria, some lipopolysaccharide extra layer is there, right, made by lipid A. This lipid A is actually responsible for the pathogenicity. When bacteria dies, it is getting secreted, it is released rather. And the polysaccharide portion is responsible for the immunological responses. As we are talking about the endotoxin, which is associated with cell wall of Salmonella, Shigella, etc., let's talk about some of the exotoxins, though they are not related to the cell wall structure. In case of some gram-positive organism, they are secreted out and they attack the target organs. We can find in case of Clostridium tetani. Usually, the cell membrane is made by the lipid protein. Carbohydrates are also present. Within the outer membrane of gram-negative prokaryotic eubacteria, some channel proteins are there, right? They are made by beta barrel structure. They passes some of the hydrophilic molecule through the membrane, right? Because membrane is hydrophobic, so to make the hydrophilic channel, this sort of porine proteins are there. They sometimes may call as aquaporine, maltoporine, etc. Some group translocation system is there. What is group translocation? Suppose the glucose is entering within the cell. After its entry, it is getting converted, it is rather phosphorylated to glucose 1-phosphate by some of the enzyme, phosphorylating enzyme associated with the membrane, right? And with the help of phosphoenol pyruvate as high energy bonds in spite of ATP. So that is called group translocation. So being glucose 1-phosphate, it cannot travel back outside to the cell. S layer. Another important virulence factor related to some of the gram-positive organism. It acts as adhesin-like action by which it can adhere to different types of other cells. We all know the ribosome of prokaryotes are 70S. In some cases, with one mRNA, some different ribosomes are attached together, giving rise to different polypeptides from one mRNA. That is called polysome structure. We all know the histone proteins are absent in case of eubacteria or general prokaryotes, okay? Because prokaryotes lack the nuclear envelope and they are not yet so much organized. They are called as nucleoid. But in some of the bacteria, we can find the presence of HNS protein. What are they? The histone-like nucleoid structure making protein. They associate two circular DNA, dimerize them by its scaffold-like structure. Apart from chromosomal DNA, some extra chromosomal plasmid DNA are there, right? They may carry some antibiotic resistance genes, virulence factor, etc. Let's talk about their variations. In case of F plasmid, that is responsible to carry the fertility factor, along with which the TRA genes are there, important for the conjugation. In case of TI plasmid, we can expect the presence of some of the virulence factor. In some of the degradative plasmid, it contains the enzyme which degrades toluene, salicylic acid, etc. In R plasmid, it contains the antibiotic resistance gene. In case of col plasmid, E. coli, it contains colicin making gene which kills other neighboring bacteria. According to oxygen requirement, they may be aerobic or anaerobic. So here the Neisseria species is the aerobic one and Clostridium species is the anaerobic one. In case of aerobic microorganism, we can find the presence of superoxide dismutase, catalase, this sort of antioxidative enzyme. Why? Because with the normal oxygen, some oxygen burst is also there for the production of reactive oxygen species to cause oxidative damage. Just to escape such damages, these sort of antioxidative enzymes are present there which are lacking in case of anaerobic organism. According to the energy source, the prokaryotic eubacteria may be phototrope which are utilizing the solar energy or may be chemotrope which are utilizing the chemical bond energy. According to nutrition concern, they may be heterotrope. That means they are degrading the organic matter, or they may be autotrope. They are cooking their food by themselves. Okay. Let's talk about the heterotropes. Heterotropes may be saprophyting, which are based their nutrition to the decaying organism. They are degrading the dead organism, right? In symbiotic heterotropes, we can find the symbiotic relationship with other types of cell. So, they are Rhizobacter species, they are Rhizobium. They colonize at the nodules of leguminous plant. They are capable by having nitrogenase enzyme to fix aerial nitrogen in the version of ammonium, and they are supplying this ammonium to the plant and they are taking carbohydrate food from the plant. So, in that way they are symbiotic in nature. The different types of autotrophs, that means they are cooking their food by themselves, they are making organic component by themselves, either utilizing solar energy or chemical energy. So, they may be photoautotrope or chemoautotrope. Usually, the cyanobacteria as well as some of the photosynthetic bacteria are photoautotropes. They are having bacteriochlorophyll. So, this is the structure of bacteriochlorophyll B. Bacteriochlorophyll A, bacteriochlorophyll B, carotene, they are acting as antenna-like molecule to absorb the photons, right, and to transduce them. So, let's talk about the photosynthetic cyanobacteria. This is the general structure of cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are photosynthetic. They may be unicellular like Glyocapsa or multicellular like Nostoc. They may be found in hot spring or they may be found everywhere. They can be red in color, green in color, yellow in color, various different types of colors are there. Their cell wall structure is as usual made by peptidoglycan. Cell membrane is made by lipid and protein, but inner core is differentiated. They have chromoplasm outer region filled with pigments and centroplasm inside that is made by hyaline-like structure. Here we can find the thylakoid, the invagination of the membrane where photosynthesis is done, and with the thylakoid membrane the phycobilisomes or cyanosomes are attached. What are they? These phycobilisomes are associated with photosystem II. They are made by some of the pigments called as phycoerythrin, allophycocyanin, phycocyanin, etc. They can absorb different wavelength of light including ultraviolet, visible, IR spectroscopy, and they can transduce them for various aspects of nutrition. These are the different types of cyanobacteria including Chrococcus, Glyocapsa, Oscillatoria, Tolipothrix, Merismopedia and Gloetritia species. Differential structures attained by cyanobacteria. The first one is thallus. So, thallus is nothing but ensheathen plant body. Then we can find the presence of heterocyst. Heterocyst is nothing but a cyst-like structure which is responsible for protein synthesis. after synthesis, the fragmentation occurs. Apart from heterocyst, some of the homocysts are there. They are the ensheathed, that is, with the sheath, some of the cyanobacterial structure having gliding motility. We can find Hormogonia. Hormogonia is some sort of filamentous structure produced during reproduction, having 5 to 15 cells clubbed together. We can observe the achaenates during the adverse condition. When the adverse condition is removed, the achaenates can again germinate. Nanocyst. Nanocysts are nothing but some sort of endospore-like characters, but in case of endospore, they are enlarged, but nanocysts do not enlarge. In case of cyanobacteria, when we can find the growth at a proper axis perpendicular to the growth, that is called true branching. But in some cases, the false branching are observed. What are they? The growth pushed out from the normal fragmentation pathway. So that is called false branching. Purple sulfur bacteria. That means the chemoautotroph. From the chemical bond energy, the bacteria will cook their food, that is, they will produce the organic matter for them. So, purple sulfur bacteria, this is Chromatium species, Chromatium oceni. These particular organisms actually are found in meromictic lake, where the anoxic condition is there, where H2S is found. From H2S, they will produce hydrogen here, right? And they will produce some sort of sulfur globule. They will precipitate them along with that, right? So, they actually produce energy from H2S. They will make elemental sulfur as precipitation like droplet or globule, or they can produce even sulfuric acid. We can find the presence of iron bacteria, the Ferrobacillus ferroxidans, in case of water. This sort of organism precipitate insoluble iron by oxidation from the soluble version. So, in other case, they can call as nuisance organism. They can choke the water running pipe. Hydrogen bacteria. They can produce hydrogen from H2O. So, this is Rhodobacter species, which are hydrogen bacteria. Among 1,650 species of bacteria, they are true bacteria having coccoid structure, having different types of rod-shaped structure, etc. Apart from this, some higher order of bacteria are there. They are not actually the true bacteria. They are called as higher bacteria. What are they? They may be fungus-like bacteria, protozoa-like bacteria, alga-like bacteria, slime mold-like bacteria, etc. The first one is fungus-like bacteria, actinomycetes, especially Corynebacterium. They have filamentous structure, radiator colony, radiation-like colony we can find over there. They can be actually found in case of soil. So, these are called fungus-like bacteria. Why? They have filamentous structure. Alga-like bacteria, Chlamydobacter, including Theoploca, Theothrix, they are alga-like bacteria. They can reduce H2S, hydrogen sulfide. They can make sulfur globules, sulfur granules, etc. Right? And they are attached to substratum with holdfast. That's why they are looking like alga. Slime mold-like bacteria, Myxobacteria. They are slime molds like. The example is Sorangium cellulosum. The organism possesses the largest sequenced genome, around 13 million nucleotide, and they excrete some of the enzyme like cellulase, which degrade the extracellular matter, which help them to colonize together. But they are not the true slime mold, right? And they are actually colonized together. That's why they are looking like the slime mold structure. Protozoa like bacteria. I told about the axial filament made by the axial fibrils. So, they help for the corkscrew motility in case of spirochetes. So, spirochetes are protozoa like bacteria. This is the picture of Troponema pallidum, causative agent for syphilis. Next, there are some small organisms are there. They are called as rickettsia. So, very tiny structure they have. So, this is the example of Rickettsia prowazekii. They can cause Lyme disease, they can cause different types of fever also. In case of Mycoplasma, Mycoplasma are actually very tiny, very small, but they lack cell wall also. In spite of cell wall, we can find a 3-layer lipoprotein membrane is present here. The structure is actually 0.125 nanometer to 0.150 nanometer around. So, this is the structure of Mycoplasma bovis. Enteric bacteria. They belong to Enterobacteriaceae family. This is the picture of Enterobacter cloacae. Enterobacter aerogenes are there. They are gram-negative organism. They are lactose fermenting organism. They are the causative agent for some of the enteric disease, and they have oral to fecal route. I have discussed the diversified kingdom of prokaryotic eubacteria according to cellular structure and associated function. They have different lipoprotein content in their cell wall. They have different types of ribosome. They have different types of DNA associated proteins. They have different types of metabolic character, morphological character, respiratory characters, and according to those particular structural characters, some responsible cellular structures are there that makes them the diversified, right? And apart from the true bacteria, some higher prokaryotic bacteria are there.